Hey, how's it going? My name's Andrew Van Beek, and this is my submission for Disrupt SF. So, I built an application that I've been sort of longing for. It's sort of an older project, and this is sort of for the Novartis submission. And apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I'm not the best at it. This is sort of like an older pet project that I sort of revived and modernized. And the idea here is an idea that I've had for a long time since I've started coding. Is that it's more of an real-time interactive experience towards like getting answers between other coders and collaborators. I think there are some similar solutions out there, but this one's a little bit like a design for the purpose of let's meet face to face. I don't know the Box API that well. Is there anybody on the internet that can not only like troubleshoot my error but also talk to me for 5 minutes about conceptually, or maybe I don't know banking APIs and there's just not much information on the web, right? So what I built is just this little platform here called Proliferate, and now this is actually on Heroku as well, and I'll give you the link for the wireframe there. So it's really here that if I was a developer, I could just log in this environment here, and I'm signing in with Google, powered by Firefox. And here I'm sort of at this dashboard where I have a couple options where I can either see, some other users just like actually have some questions. Maybe I could hop on and actually help them. So for example, this user says, hey, I need some help with Rails. I don't know how OAuth works. This is all very new to me. Is there anybody that can just explain where I can put this in my controller, right? Or maybe someone's learning Python for the first time and they're not looking so much for code, but maybe someone just to talk to them about like the differences between Python and their language of choice. So I could be the one to actually answer them. So all I would really need to do is actually click on these links, and it would actually bring me into that session with that user. Now, another thing I could also do is that if there's ongoing sessions, i.e., sessions that already have someone who responded and answered to it, I could actually click on these links and actually just work as an observer. So maybe I didn't in particularly ask the question, but I also don't know how to integrate Stripe and iOS, right? So I could sit on this session and also collaborate and watch these people. Now, one thing that's nice is like just in like any system, ratings key is that if I am someone that's responding to these answers, my points and my ratings and my reviews are going to go up. So I have this little bit of this gamification, um, motivation to join in there. But instead, I'm going to say I actually need help here. So I'm going to say like, I need help learning WebRTC for let's do web applications and screen sharing. I'm building a Node application that needs to do screen sharing. Please help. So I'm going to select, my language is Node here, or really my, my language and/or framework here, and I'm going to say it's more back-end operations because we're doing stuff with Socket.io on the background probably. So I create this new session, and I'm actually in the environment, and hello, how's it going? So this is great. I'm actually here. I'm all set up. But now, if I actually refresh the page here, you can see that as this different user, I now see this WebRTC session. Now notice this WebRTC session isn't actually here. That's because no one's actually answered to it. So it doesn't make sense for that to be an observable session. So here I'm actually going to click WebRTC for application and screen sharing. And you can see we are both in there, and I'm going to just say like, hey, great to meet you. Then let's see if I got it on the other end. And actually, one thing that's interesting that's happening here is that I see that AVB at Mailinator is also joining here. So what I can do here is actually accept his offer. So now that I have accepted his offer, I got this little notification, hey, I've accepted his offer. Now we're all set here. Now, so one thing that's interesting is like if I actually go into a new profile now, is that now that I have someone answering there, if I go to host that account, I can now see that WebRTC is available for me to join. And now there's 3 of us here. I'm actually going to stop here. And one thing that's actually going to be critical is that, like, well, I have a problem. So the thing that's next here is like, hey, can I actually share my screen and actually show my code? So now I'm sharing my screen. And now you can see this is going to be a little bit of but you can see on the right here, this other user can actually now see my screen, front and center. So, and as soon as I cancel share screen, they also cannot see it anymore as well, right? So it's really here that we could talk about, like, talk about the code. I could show my code platform here. If I decide to share my screen, I could really get into it. And really at the end of it, what I can do now is that I can actually end my session. Get a little bit of information of what's going on, see the person that I worked with, give them a good review. Hey, awesome job, top notch. So I can submit that, and that person can actually go back to their environment, actually see, instead of having a null rating now they got 1 review and a 5-star rating. So yeah, that's a little bit of this app, and thanks guys for the consideration.